Say, sup guys? Slanjava, welcome to Whiskey and Synths, hope you're good. So you're on the channel that blends whiskey drinking and music making. We're on the day 2 of the, we're just a day 3 challenge. So I'm just this is the pre-ramble, just getting things started as well. So hopefully all's good on the YouTube stream and it's streaming okay. Looks like it's all good on the OBS. Drop me a comment if there's any problems with it or anything like that. But glad to have you here. So you've got live on the Instagram up there, and then just there I've got the YouTube as well, Whiskey and Synths, and we're going to get started at 8:30, which is just in like about 4 minutes time. So I'll wait to any last people to join on the challenge as well. But yeah, Slanjava to those that are there, and you might be watching this on the rewatch as well. If you are, legend, good to have you here as well. Thanks for coming back to this stream. But those on the live though right now, that is so cool that you're here. So yeah, I'm well excited about that. So yeah, let me run through a little bit about what the stream is going to be like, a little bit of what you're going to learn on it, why it's important, why I've saved some cool things to last, and then we'll do a little bit on the automation essentially. And this is part of a 3-step mini challenge this week to get your track finished. All right, so we want to get your track finished and out there, and this is a big chunk of it, getting it arranged, going from like an 8-bar loop and taking it all the way to being like a finished arranged track ready for mixing and mastering and all that. So a 3-step mini challenge. Hopefully you don't have to put more time into it than you normally do into your music production to do this challenge. Yeah, I'm here to help you do it the best I can, so I'm really excited for it. So today the stream is probably going to last about 30 minutes. So we'll probably go till about 9 p.m. UK time. So hopefully you just get it all, everything you need straight up there. And then if you haven't seen the last stream, that's fine. This one still makes sense as a standalone lesson on automation. But you know, I think being part of this 3-day mini challenge is part of the fun of it as well. So yeah, big shout out to you if you're watching this and tuned in. Great to have you here. I'm just doing a few little checks, making sure everything is going okay on it. It looks like it is. Looks like OBS and all that is. Excuse me as well. So yeah, looking forward to doing this. This is cool. So what I'll do is, just whilst we're waiting on people, I'll play a bit of the track that we got to yesterday. So yesterday, all we started with was this scene here, which I've labeled part A. And then we made 2 extra scenes. I sort of explained how to do that, why to do that. They're like the foundations you build your track on. Then I explained one way of getting them into arrangement view in Ableton as well. And I laid it out as a track, labeled each section. And I'll just play it through and let you hear it. It's going to be a bit blocky, it's not going to be perfect. But the idea is this session is going to help getting it sounding more professional. So here it is from beginning to end pretty much just now. And if you're there, leave a comment. If you have any questions along the way, I'll answer it along the way. Cool. So I'll show you the plugin that pad's on. It's the FB3300. Great synth, that is so cool. Full Bucket Music synths are amazing and free, so shout out the Full Bucket music person who makes these. They're just so cool. Based on these ones, a lot of them, not all of them, are based on old Korg synths. The bass synth as well, same plugin, the Full Bucket Music 3300. Loving that. And then the sub is just from Operator, and it's a default Operator patch. Shout out Simon Stokes, Sugar Studios, now known as Subsign Academy, for teaching us that trick. What a legend. Absolutely love that. So good, so good. So I'm just going to adjust some mic settings as well, make sure it's not too loud or peaking or anything for you guys. 1, 2, yeah, should be alright. And then let's go back up here. Hopefully the volumes are good for you. Always let me know in the chat if the volumes aren't balanced that well or anything. I'll be keeping an eye on that. And here's a bit of variation in the music. That's what I was going for as well. Like the drums aren't exact same all the way through, and you'll see how I edited that in the last one. Mainly it's a process of subtraction. You have these three scenes that are full and you subtract things out of them. One of my favorite tricks I've been doing recently is this random by Fortet, and it randomizes the MIDI notes, which is cool. Tell you what, this blip could do with a bit of pitch drifting on it. So I'm just going to go to plugin, audio effects, pitch, shifter, and check this out. If I do this wild, you'll hear it too much. Doing that amount on the shifter, I'll just bring it a bit, and that'll add some subtle pitch drift to it as well. Okay, hey, good to have you here. Hey, how's it going? Mellowfield man, great to have you here. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining the stream. We're just playing through the track from yesterday. Hopefully the balance of the music and the voice is okay. And then hopefully on the YouTube it's the same as well. So welcome to any of the YouTube viewers. Let me know in the comments that you're just hearing everything okay, and that would be great actually. But yeah, great to have you here. No worries, no worries. Haven't really got properly into it or started yet, so just been building up and kind of recapping a little bit on what we've done yesterday. So great to have you on board. That's awesome. Cheers. And yeah, on the YouTube as well. Thanks for being here as well. So I've got YouTube down there, Instagram there. Hope you're good. This is like the bridge part of the song or track. Some people might call that the pre-drop in dance music, I guess. And then what I've done is added an octave higher, the lead there. So it's kind of this funny mix between like techno and synthwave a little bit, this track. Kind of just made it actually on the bus home the other day as a little example project for a bit of a laugh. So that was the mood I was in. And like I said, I'm using some great synths. Just in case you missed it, I'm using the Full Bucket Music 3300, brilliant, which is an emulation on old Korg. And then on the drum rack, I've just got loads of like drum samples from Mars, and they usually do a little bit of a deal this time of year where you can get all their samples really cheap, and they really are amazing, well sampled sounds. So yeah, so sorry to hear you're feeling a little bit sick. But no worries, that's fine, don't worry. Sit back and relax and enjoy the tutorial. Hope it goes all right as well. And you know, anyone give me a shout out if you've got any problems with it or anything as well. So, but yeah, great to have you here. Cool, so that's the track, and I'm pretty happy with it. But the main thing we're gonna do is to do a bit of automation on it, because once you've got a track like this and it's a little bit like blocky, it's almost like Lego kind of, but you've not finished building it properly and added all the details, and that is a big part of arrangement, getting all the details in. So in Ableton, and you can do automation in all DAWs, whatever you're using, if you're on Logic or Cubase. I'm using Ableton just now, so I'll describe it as it is in Ableton. And like I said, if you're on the YouTube, you'll be able to see it on the YouTube, the actual screen share, and hopefully the audio share is quite good on the old YouTube as well. So yeah, cool. So automation, classic one is automating filters, automating your dry wet effects as well, and you can automate loads of different things like transpose, you know, other things to do with pitch, the release of things, which is Bicep do a lot actually, which is quite cool. And yeah, like I said, this is fine if you're on Logic Pro or GarageBand, because you can do automation in Logic Pro and in GarageBand actually. I've got a student, shout out Jamie, who's actually using GarageBand, and we were recently adding loads of automation to it, to different parameters. So hopefully, even if you're on Logic or GarageBand, whatever DAW you're on, you'll be able to get some takeaways for this. But what I'm going to do is start with the intro. So it starts off with like this synth sound here. Just a simple, classic, kind of almost 80s, late 70s synth tone, sci-fi vibe coming in. But what I want to do is automate a filter on that. So rather than its volume just coming in, I want the filter to come in on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an auto filter, it's called, which is basically a filter plugin. Really simple. I quite like the filter slope on it to be like a 12 dB slope, and it kind of, that means it kind of adds in, you know, a 24 dB slope is a bit steeper. That means the filter sounds a little bit harsher, where if it's like a 12 dB slope, it can come in a little bit smoother like that. and add a bit of resonance bump on it. And then what's cool on this filter plugin in Ableton, you can actually change it to your a few different types of filters, so look out for that whatever you're on. And then I'm going to choose the MS2 filter, which mimics a MS20 Korg synth, and all my plugins are based on Korg synths, and do the drive up on it, so which means the filter has a bit more character, which is quite cool. Now, to see your automation in Ableton, you basically, as long as your keyboard thing isn't up, you can use the shortcut of A to launch your automation lanes, or you can go View, Automation Mode, and in Logic there's a little button that kind of looks like a dot, a line and a dot, then another line. That's where you find it in Logic, and I'm pretty sure it's the same in GarageBand as well. And essentially it gives you these lines that you can add little dots to, which are called nodes, and then you change the shape of them. For example, I'll do an example here where I've got my filter frequency, and I'll do a dot there and a dot at the start and bring down it to like maybe there. So when it starts, the filter is like sweeping in slowly to add a little bit more interest to the sound. And throughout the whole track, I'm going to add filter automation, pardon me, on this synth here, and probably on all the synths. By the end of it, you know, in the guide I've got, which you guys can see here, there's a PDF guide that goes with this, which you'll probably you might have the email for it already. Is I've made this sort of goal to add automation on up to, let's see, 6 different things to add variation. So maybe that's a good goal to go for, like 6 different things to automate throughout the track. So I'm going to add that, and you can hear it sweeps in and gets brighter and brighter. So filters are a big one to automate in electronic music, but it can work well in other kinds of music too. And then I'll drag that node down there so the filter goes back down, which I quite like. Now, a cool thing to do with your automation lanes is you can see when you add the dot and then another node, and it becomes like quite triangular the way the automation goes like that. But you can actually bend them in most DAWs. In Ableton, you literally hover over and hold Option and use this, hover near it, hold Option, and you can bend the line so it's more of a curve, which is kind of cool. And apparently this makes it sound more human. So if you're doing automation and bending the curves, that is a good thing to do when you're automating things. It makes it sound more human. And electronic music, because by nature is kind of course, loopy, electronic, a bit repetitive. Anything that you can do to make it a bit more human element to it will kind of elevate it to the next level. And one thing I'd recommend actually is, if I won't be doing it tonight, but if you do have like a MIDI controller like this thing here, this is an Ovation launch control XL, or any MIDI controller, you can actually map these and record in automation, which makes it even more like human feel to it. It's almost like the imperfections are like one of the cool things about it, but we'll stick to drawing it in just now. All right, so that's cool. Just doing a little check things. So yeah, we're all good. Now, throughout the song, I'm going to keep focusing on the pad just now. It's quite low here, so I'll bring it back up, I think. It'd be quite cool. So this bit of the song is going to open up. Then in the bridge, or you could say pre-drop part of it, a classic thing to do is take out all the bass from something. So you want it to be way less bassy. So what I might do is put a different kind of auto filter on it. You can see here we've got an auto filter and an option. We were using the low pass filter, which lets the bass stay but cuts the highs. When you use the opposite now, I want the bass to go but the highs to stay in this pad. So I'm going to set it up really similar to before with the resonance bump, 12 dB slope, MS20 style emulation, and I'm going to, on the bridge part of it, I'm going to take our auto filter that lets the highs through but cuts the bass and bring it up like that. So I'll let you hear this. I'll solo it as well, so you hear it better. You hear the bass tones are going out of that. almost all the way. So you don't always want to do it all the way. Like I say, you can bend the curve of it to make it sound a bit more human. And this is the rest of the track. And we probably want to do that on the actual bass as well. And what's cool in most DAWs is if you copy the plugin you're doing it, sometimes the automation follows it. So if I copy that onto my bass, I'm hoping you'll notice the automation line follows it, which is so cool. So I'm glad you're liking it. It's very lushy. Nice. And yeah, definitely a 70s kind of synth. So like I said, the automation's copied. I'm just going to tweak it a bit on the bass. So I'm going to move that node to there and this node to here. And I've labeled all my clips and all my different parts of it. I think it's really important to do that as we go along, guys. So I definitely recommend doing that. So we'll hear this bit. We're losing the bass end from the track a little bit. The bass is going out, maybe a bit too much. So you must tweak it. It's a matter of tweaking it and kind of making it best you can. And you can see this filter is coming back in like that. I've got a bass guitar here as well. So we might focus on the drop drop area later on, but I'll come back to that. I've got a question as well. So by the way, what's your favorite drum machine sound of choice? So magic question. So what I would recommend is, I'll show it on the screen here and I'll describe it as well, is I've got a pack here called Samples from Mars Essentials. So I'll see if we can find it on the internet as well, because it's absolutely brilliant. And it's the time of year when it's kind of usually discounted heavily as well. So let's have a look. Samplers from Mars. Sampler from Mars Essentials. Essential WAV from Mars. So right now, it goes up every year because they're always adding to it. But right now it's $79, which is a bit expensive, but they really go to town with like sampling synths and drum machines and stuff. So, and they just sound just amazing. So in this project, I've got a drum rack that mainly has their drum sounds. And the drum sounds, if you want specific drum machines, I've went for Lin drum sounds, DMX sounds, and drum track sounds. So Lin drum tracks, and DMX. That's if you want that big 80s sound, like kind of New Order style almost. I especially love the DMX and drum tracks because they're like harsh sounding, and then the actual Lin drums are a little bit softer. But I do like a CR78. It kind of depends. This question, what drum machine, is quite a good one. Sort of what tool for the job. But I really do like the kind of harsher 80 ones, like drum tracks. Just to double check again, the drum tracks, the DMX, yeah, and the Lin drum are some of my favorites. So yeah, I like the Lin drum, and the 707's cool as well. Yeah, so I do like the 707. I quite like the 606. Some of their hi-hats is quite cool as well. So Tellums have just joined as well. Thanks for joining us, Tellums. Hope you're doing good. Essentially, just for those that have joined us, we were just doing automation in Ableton. We got a track from yesterday. How do we make it a bit more what you call it? A bit more. I'm just checking for comments in the YouTube as well, but we got a track that is arranged from beginning to end. We want to make everything evolve and be more cool like that. So I've got this is near the start, and I like how the bass just comes in that, so I'm happy with that. But in the B section, how's this sounding? How's this start? I think the bass could have a bit of filtering on it here, which might be cool. So I'm going to add a low pass filter. Yeah, I think on this B section, because it's almost like the verse, I really want it to kind of have a bit like, it pulls back a bit, and then it comes back forward in the verse. It's that kind, you can't have quiet, so you can't have loud without quiet. It's a great quote. So on the bass, I'm going to get the filter frequency, and I'm just going to maybe do 3 nodes, one at the start, one at the end, and one in the middle, and just bring it down a bit there. Set it to a 12 dB slope, bump the resonance, and set it to the MS-20 style filter, which I think will give it a bit more character. Maybe bring it down a bit more. Yeah, that adds a lot more interest to this bit of this song, I'm sure you'll agree. Then it's coming back in. I feel like this pad could probably be faded a little bit better as well, actually. Yeah. Now, when it comes to automation, you can actually use a trick called modulation as well. So on this blip lead, what I've done, I've got this shifter on it. So that's without the shifter. When the shifter's on, it's just slightly changing the pitch. Now, I've not had to draw in the automation for that. It's actually an LFO doing that, and that is called modulation. So it actually doesn't change the parameter, it just evolves it around one set point where automation actually changes it. So that apparently is in the Ableton certified teacher test, which I've not done, I've just heard about it. So I've always loved that fun fact. So yeah, we've got some cool comments here. Mixing with a Lindrum in 707. 707 is nice to use because it's versatile when it comes to creating EBM tracks. So with a Lindrum, focus on making electro industrial. So that's cool. And yeah, thanks. You think the bass synth sounding stunningly stark, and I appreciate that. That one, I'm pretty happy with it. It's quite cool. Like I said, it has this hollow feel to it, doesn't it? And I think it's this full bucket music synth. I can't promote it, where it's free to get. Full bucket music, FB 3300, based on an old Korg synth, which I don't remember the name of, but it's really vintage kind of sounding. So yeah. So hopefully this automation's helping with it as well as we go along the way. Shout out everyone that's watching on the YouTube as well. Just drop me a comment if there's any problems or anything like that. That'd be cool. So when we're coming to the sort of pre-drop here, which is marked section C, I'll turn off solo there. Now this bass guitar, I really want to play around with some of the things on this, so I'll probably filter it. We've done a lot of automation of filters, you can tell like that. So I'm going to just do that again, get a bit more filter. I'm going to do some different things here as well, I think, which would be cool. So let's go a bit of filter automation. Yeah, I like that. Now what I'd like to do is also bump up the reverb and delay and stuff on the pad. So for example, on this bass guitar, I've got my A return channel is this small reverb, and the Valhalla is the big reverb echo thing. So I think what I'm going to do is choose Mixer Valhalla. So you can click this box here, and I'm just going to send this bass guitar sound way to it, and you'll hear it, the echo getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So you hear that sort of get more washy. Really want that. The pad could do with some more automation on it as well. Then everything drops back in. Now, notice the problem with this. This is something when you automate stuff and then forget you've automated it. So that one here, earlier in the song on the bass track, I took out a lot of the bass. So now I need to make sure that when a drop happens, it just slams back in the full bass of it. So I'm going to just automate that. So at this point, it comes straight back in. can see that there. Yeah, harsher backing. Like that. Cool. So yeah, a couple of people join as well. The Loners UK, how's it going? We're just adding automation to a track. So thanks for joining us as well. Over on the YouTube, thanks for joining us here as well, guys. Like I said, if you've got any questions on the way, give me a shout. So I can see you've got a question, ask for advice when it comes to a track. Made one, want to make sure about the synths and the drums. Currently working on a track with 128 BPM. That is something I definitely can help with. And sometimes I do like one-to-one sessions for free. I do about 5 a month. So what I can do is I'll get in touch afterwards, and for specific things that can't be answered quickly in this live stream or anything like that, I can maybe reach out to chat about it one-to-one as well. So that would be fine. Yeah, nice one. So, but I'll take it back to the automation, because I do realize there's some people who are here mainly for that, and I want to make sure everyone gets a good amount of time, but I don't run over too much as well. So we're at now about 10 to 9, and we've automated a few things. We've automated filters, we've automated the reverbs and stuff like that. And then what I think we could do now is, we've done modulation on the pitch shifting, which is cool, on the little blip lead, which is one of my favorite things in this. It kind of gives it that kind of like wonky techno sound, which I really like. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some automation on volume. Now this is important. So we're doing automation on this track before we mix it. So if we automate a volume fader, that's going to be annoying for later on when we mix it. And this is the same in Ableton, and I'm pretty sure it's the same in Logic and GarageBand. If you automate a volume fader, it's kind of annoying to just tweak it later when you're like wanting to mix things properly. So most DAWs, including Ableton, will have a sort of plugin that is basically just like a gain knob, which is like almost like an extra volume dial. So in Ableton, it's called utility. So I'm going to drag a utility onto my drum rack, and imagine near the end of the song, I kind of want to fade out with volume. So instead of automating my volume fader, I'm going to get the gain dial and just automate that instead. And that keeps my volume fader free to actually mix later on, which is cool. And you can see the drums are just fading out volume wise as well. You could probably do the exact same thing on that bass as well. I think I will. So what I can do is get the utility, drop that on, go to gain, and once again we'll just fade out the bass like that. So if you ever want to fade in or fade out, that's great. So we've got the Instigator joined us as well, so welcome to the live stream, hope you're doing good. What we're doing here is mainly working on automation. This is part of a step two of a 3-step challenge to like take your track from being basically a bunch of loops and getting it arranged, and then getting it arranged kind of in 3 different steps. So arranged, automated, and then extra stuff, which I'll go through on the live stream tomorrow as well. And if you've got any questions and stuff, like I said, I'll do my best to answer them as we're chatting on this topic, but I'll also at the very end give a bit of extra time if anyone's got any more detailed question as well. So yeah, we've got Tim on the chat as well. Tim, how's it going? You all right? Hope you're doing good. All right. So this tutorial, hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, I'm good, Tim, thanks. And yeah, and this one, like I said, there's going to be a rewatch video of it as well. So if anyone is watching this later on the rewatch, shout out to you as well. Thanks for joining in and trying to get that track finished by the end of the year. I'm hoping this is helping. So yeah, that's cool. So what we've got now is a little bit more automation being needed on the pre-drop. If you're going to do lots of automation, that is where I'd kind of focus your efforts on, because it's where the drama was created in your track and you want it to be kind of like pull back a bit and then go massive again. And what you can even do is on the master, you can add a filter on the master, which is quite fun, and then maybe make it a filter that takes out some of the bass on the master. So I do like doing this one. And to do that on Ableton, you go down to your master channel here. I've dropped a filter on it, selecting the frequency, and then this is almost like what a DJ might do in the DJ booth as well, but you're just doing it in the track itself. Maybe that's a bit much. You kind of want to be subtle with it, don't be it too much. And what I think is going to help with that drop is maybe a few more extra sounds in there, which we will be talking about tomorrow in the live stream when we talk about ear candy and stuff like that. So I'm quite good. So question on the chat, when we have our next live stream? Oh, sorry you're not feeling well. But we are having the next one tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. UK time. And like I said, it's step 3 of this free step challenge. Yeah, thanks for all your questions and comments. I appreciate you being here, absolutely. And like I said, this full live stream will be rewatchable on the YouTube that has the screen grab and everything. So if you have to shoot out early, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Appreciate you having here for a good while. Same for anyone else. But there will be a full rewatch on the YouTube, and usually on Instagram I'll have it to rewatch as well. So on the YouTube it's Whiskey and Synths, Instagram Tonic Note Records. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks so much. Have a good evening. Hope you feel better. We'll go back to this. So as you can see, our aim is to add lots of automation in the track to make it evolve and move, and you can automate any parameter at all in Ableton. It's the same in Logic, same in GarageBand, same in other DAWs. You want to, I'd say in your track, I'll try at least automating 6 different things to make your track sound better. Focus on your intros, focus on your pre-drops, and then also focus on like bits where you're like, you want the song to dip down in energy a bit. Like I've got it kind of here. So this is my main bit of my song, kind of harsher. And then it dips down like that. Any comments? So it dips down in this section of the song here, which I do quite like actually. So I think that's an important thing to mention as well. I'm trying to think other ways I'd use automation in it. You've got loads of choices really for what you want to do. Like I said, you can automate basically anything. For example, some people will, on their drums, even drop like a special reverb plugin on it that they want to drop on it. But instead, and I know you normally don't put loads of reverb on drums in general, but it can be quite fun just before your drop to do that. So I'll show you. So I've got kind of reverb here. Let me just put in like a, let's go special. Let's go something crazy just for a laugh. Outer space. Why not? And then I'm going to do the dry wet of it to go from absolutely 0 and then to go up. So on our drums, this could sound awful, but it could sound fun. Quite like that actually. Ooh. So what I'm going to do actually is delete that, extend that. I quite like that cowbell sound. There we go. I'm going to bend it using Option. But if you're on Windows as well, you can use Alt for that to bend the line. You hover near it and press that button. I think that needs to keep going, I think, a bit longer. All right, cool. So, good questions on Instagram. Should we be able to see your screen? On Instagram, I've just got it as this with the music and the chat, basically. But I've got it set up fully on the Whiskey and Synths YouTube for everyone else who can see the whole live stream of the screen and the kind of good audio from the computer as well. So the Instagram's kind of meant to be like a live podcast kind of thing, and then the YouTube's like got hopefully the full picture and stuff like that as well. So it depends what platform you prefer to be on, really. But yeah, thanks for asking. That's cool. I'm trying to think what else. I'm automating a whole bunch of different things. And I'm going to go back to my guide here as a little template. Like I said, I've got these PDF guides here, which I've sent out to quite a few people. Hopefully a lot of people in the chat have had this. But essentially the goal of the session is to automate different effects and parameters to add movement and interest to our track. It's going to make it live and breathe. And this is when things are changed over time. It just makes it more satisfying to listen to. You can use the red automation lanes to draw it in, or you can actually get a MIDI controller like something like this, and then you can actually press record once you map this to it and record in automation, which gives it a more human feel, which is cool. But if you're drawing it in, that's the best place to start if you're a beginner. And volumes are quite a good things to go for, but use the utility effect for that. Pitch and tuning, do subtle pitch variations can be quite cool. Send and return effects, and like I said, bend in the automation lane's good. And then when it comes to your mix later on, imagine these automations we're doing now is quite broad strokes automations. But when it comes to the mixes, you might add further like a layer of tiny automations to add even more detail to your thing, which is really cool. So I'll just play it from the drop again to give you a little idea of what we're doing here, and then we'll wrap up soon after that. I'll answer any questions and stuff too. Here the bass is getting cut out a little bit, so it's going a bit quieter. The reverb's coming up, kind of getting quite exciting. The bass guitar is coming in a bit more kind of prominent, and then maybe I'll make it fade away a little bit, which might be a good idea. Cool, and then you got your drop section there as well. So this track, I'm thinking it's not too shabby, not too bad. It's not my favorite one I've ever made, but hopefully a good demo one. We got Louise Jane Campbell joined. So Louise, how you doing? Hope you're good. Thanks for joining the stream. We are streaming away on the old. This is like my second one ever, so thanks for joining. But Louise, basically we've just went from a track that was blocky and arranged but didn't sound that great to add an automation to make it smooth and transition better. And that's what's really important with electronic music. Automation is key. So if you've missed any of this, because to be honest we're coming to near the end of the session now, and it's well worth having a look back on either the Instagram or the Whiskey and Synths YouTube. So I've got my little whiskey flask here, Slanjavan music producers. And on the YouTube, you get the full rewatch that has also even got the screen share as well, and hopefully the good audio will sound good on it as well. We got Tio as well. Tio, how's it going? Thanks. So I've been streaming for about half an hour now and just kind of wrapping things up now basically. But like I said, there's that rewatch for you guys. If anyone is wanting help with their music production, someone mentioned that in the chat. That is the kind of thing I do. So I thought it'd be worth mentioning some of the artists I've worked with recently. For example, Stephanie's an amazing artist, also known as Anna, who's done so much good work. And last summer we were working together on her tracks, and she just started learning Ableton, getting into it. And then we did a few sessions, and within 6 months, she had a track on Tonic Note Records, which is like our label, but still got a released track in less than 6 months. So that came out on our last compilation. Comes out every December. We've got one coming out this December as well, which I'm quite excited for. And if you're a producer with a finished track who wants to submit to that, All the details are in the bio. Just you know how to contact me, message, comment, whatever. Get in touch. You'll find a way to contact me and send me your track. But within 6 months, you had a release track. And then not long after that, the start of this year, was in a games jam. And if you've not heard of that, that's when like loads of game making people get together. They try and make a computer game in a short space of time. And Anna was like the lead composer for our team on it as well, doing all the music production. And that was like in the space of less than a year and not even that many coaching sessions. So I'm really happy for Anna. That's one of the kind of things I can help out with. Also, we had Mark Henson, who goes by the name Field of View, who only had a few sessions. He had kind of the ideas for tracks, and we analysed them, looked at them, and then kind of just gave tips on the arrangement, tips on the mix, tips on the mastering. And then he's got like 6 EPs out pretty much in his Bandcamp. I'm looking at them right now. And now he's progressed to using kind of live synths and drum machines and modules and building up his own live show and live set. It's totally amazing when he was only doing that for not long as well. So basically what I do when I'm helping with coaching people is hopefully you want a result and hopefully you want to get your track released and out there. And that's why this free mini challenge on these streams and rewatches is hopefully going to help you. And if you missed yesterday's, go back and watch it on the YouTube. It's about arranging your 8-bar loop into a full timeline. And then today's was all about automation to make it sound as smooth and as cool as possible. And tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. UK time, we're back online on the Instagram and the YouTube. And this is all going to be about finishing your arrangement with special sounds and all that cool stuff. So it's got a cool name, Ear Candy. I'm not going to spoil it anymore, but I can't wait to show you that as well. That's coming up. So I want to say before we sign off, hopefully you've enjoyed learning about the kind of automation in Ableton. Like I said, you can use it in any DAW, whether you're on Logic or GarageBand or Cubase or whatever. But the main thing is if you're making electronic music or almost any music and not doing automation, you're missing a trick. And hopefully this has helped make it easy to understand today and gave you a few targets to at least 6 things automated in your track and stuff like that. So just before I shoot off, I'm going to check the streams on the YouTube and on for here. If anyone's got any questions, now is the chance. I'll go back through the questions as well here. Melfman was asking a bit about maybe getting some specific feedback on a track, and that is something I do offer as well with like free sessions or listening and stuff like that as well. And like I said, coming up tomorrow, I've got another stream as well. And then after that other stream, I do have a few other things in the pipeline to help you get your track full. What happens after it's arranged? How do we get it out there and released? I've got some things to help with that coming up as well. So thank you so much for joining me on the streams today. See you tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. UK time. And if you jump on that 8:30 straight away, that's a good thing because I'll be starting not long after that and doing like another half-hour masterclass. So thanks so much. Really appreciate. Enjoy your whiskey. Enjoy your synths. Slanjavan music producers. I will catch you later. Cheers, guys. Bye.